Assalamu alaikum, dear students, and welcome to today's session. In today's session, we'll be discussing about the concept of source-based questions. We'll be discussing as to how we are going to answer the source-based questions. Usually, what happens is that I find the students confused with answering source-based questions. Actually, source-based questions are a part of section A of history. In section A, there are uh, two questions which are source based. The first question is of 3 marks, and the second question that we have is of 5 marks. So, step by step, we are going to go through and we are going to understand as to how source based questions are answered. So, referring to source A first, as you can see, source A it comprises of 3 marks, wherein a paragraph is given to you. You are required to read the paragraph carefully, and then you are required to select any 3 sentences pertaining to the question that you are going to choose as the answer. Then these sentences are required to be written in your own words. Now, here, what is the common mistake of the students? The students, they usually copy the source exactly. Remember that do not copy. If you copy the source exactly, it won't be any worth of marks. If you need marks, then you are required to write down the sentences in your own words. And remember that be relevant to the source. Now, usually what the students they do is that they write down the answer, but they add other information as well, which was not in the source, which was not a part of the source. Because in history there is a lot of information available. So even they try adding into it. So remember that this is not allowed by the examiner. You are required to write down relevant to the source, only what is a part of the source, no extra information can be written. Since this is a question for 3 marks, we are required to write down 3 sentences. So it means that 1 mark is going to be awarded per sentence. So if you are going to write down 2 sentences in your own words and you forget about writing down the third one, so you're gonna get 2 marks in that case. So this is how source A is answered. Now, moving on further to source B, which is basically a picture based one. Now, what happens is that this is a question which comprises of 5 marks in total. And this is the most common question wherein the students they find themselves confused as to how they are going to use the picture to answer the question. So here is a breakdown available of the marks. What happens is that once you see the picture, so you are required to analyze the picture carefully. Usually below the picture, you are going to find one-liner description as well, which is going to help you connect the picture to the particular event. So whatever you see in the picture, if you write down one sentence, like for example, if you can see in the picture an emperor riding an elephant, so what you write down is that I can see an emperor riding an elephant. So whatever you see in the picture, if you write down that one sentence, that is going to be of 1 mark. Now, the sentence that you have written about what you have seen in the picture is required to be connected with inferencing. Inferencing means that what does it concludes or what does the thing that you have seen indicates. Like, for example, if you have seen an emperor riding an elephant and you write down that I can see an emperor riding an elephant, so what you can infer? You can infer, like, for example, that the emperor is a rich ruler, that the emperor is powerful, he is having elephants, like this, like the emperor loved a lavish lifestyle. So this is what inferencing is, the connectivity. What we say is like कि जो कुछ आपने देखा पिक्चर में उससे आपको क्या समझ आया, तो जो चीज समझ आ रही है that is inferencing. And if you write down connecting it to what you have seen, ये जरूरी है कि कनेक्टिविटी establish हो. जो कुछ आपने देखा है उससे अगर कनेक्टिविटी establish हो रही है, तो that is going to give you help you get another 1 mark. So this is going to be 2 marks in total. Now you need to find out another fact out of that picture, which means that another thing that you can see, for example, if you can see soldiers down, that I can see soldiers moving around the along with them, connectivity establish करेंगे, कर सकते हैं, ये क्या infer कर सकते हैं. So I can infer that emperor had a large army, emperor was a powerful one. 1 mark is coming. Yeah, so this is how it's gonna be 2 marks. So 2 marks we have got here in the first pair. In the second pair, we have got 2 marks. Now the last mark is for event identification. You need to identify the event and you need to conclude that this picture is related to which event. So that is going to get you the last mark. This is how there is the breakdown of marks when it comes to answering the source-based questions. Let's check that either we are able to solve that example or not. So here, if you people can see, this is an example given. This is source A given to us, which is the All India Muslim League meeting in Lahore 1940. So this is the paragraph wherein the information is available about the meeting of All India Muslim League in Lahore. So here we are required to extract 3 sentences and we are required to interpret or convert those sentences in our own words and we are required to write it down. It is the most easiest part of history exam and easily 3 sentences can be extracted. Like for example, if the question is that what was the position of the Muslim League as per Muhammad Ali Jinnah, or what was the viewpoint, like for example, if the question is what was the viewpoint of Muhammad Ali Jinnah about India, so here we can see Muhammad Ali Jinnah outlined events of the past and presented the solution to the Muslims problem. So we can convert it in our own words that Mr. Jinnah presented the solution to the problems of the Muslims in the session like this. He said that the problem of India was not one of an internal conflict between Hindus and Muslims, but mainly an international one. We can convert it like this, that Jinnah was of the idea that the problem of India was a major issue which was going to have some international consequences, and it was not merely limited to dispute between Hindus and Muslims or dispute between the nations. So this is how we can extract 3 sentences and we can convert it in our own words. So answering source A is quite easy. Let's move on to source B. Here we have a picture wherein we can see Jinnah sitting on one side, on the left hand side, on the right hand side, and we can see a chess game which is between both Jinnah and Gandhi. However, we find that in the picture, Jinnah is thinking deeply. Below the picture, as I had mentioned, that there is going to be a description available if you see. So the description says that time for a move, and it has been published from magazine of 1945, which indicates that this is a picture related to the events of 1945, maybe the Simla conference or elections 1945, kind of like that. Okay, so what can we see in the picture? Like for example, I can see Gandhi and Jinnah thinking over a chess game. Like this is something quite evident in the picture, and it can easily be seen that Gandhi and Jinnah are thinking over a picture. So they're thinking over picture. This is going to get us 1 mark. This sentence is of 1 mark. Now we are required to connect it to the inferencing. कि भाई इससे क्या conclude होता है या इससे क्या समझ आ रहा है. I can infer that they are working to find a solution of subcontinent. Subcontinent means India. So this is going to be of another 1 mark because both of them were constantly trying and doing efforts to find a solution to India. क्योंकि जिना was representing Muslims, तो जिना का ख्याल था कि मुसलमानों के लिए कोई solution निकल आए. गांधी was representing the Hindus, तो गांधी का ख्याल था कि हिंदूज की जितनी भी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं वो रिजॉल्व हो जाए. तो इसके लिए जो है ये वर्किंग की जा रही थी. I can see the British holding a clock. If you can see in the picture, so there is a British man and he's holding a clock in his hand. So yes, this is something that we have written. I can see the British holding a clock. अब क्या करेंगे again? I can infer that the British want to leave India as soon as possible. So if you people remember, since it is written that it is a picture of 1945, in 1945, during the Simla conference, Lord Wavell had presented his idea that the British are now going to leave India and they wanted to hand over the power to the Indians through an interim government and they wanted to leave India. So यही चीज यहाँ हमने उसको इन्फर कर दिया कि भाई British is looking at the clock, which means that they want to leave India. Again, this is the second pair of 2 marks. This is the first pair of 2 marks. Event identification, if we talk about, so this picture, below the picture, it's written, the date is written 1945. So this picture is related to the struggle of handing over the power from the British to the Indians. We can write it like this as well. Or else I have written here that this picture is related to the time of World War II. So this is how source B is going to be answered when it comes to answering a picture-based question. Let's refer to another example. So here, if you see, this picture is source A is the paragraph which is related to the Khilafat movement. We have the information available about the Treaty of Sevres. So again, the thing is that we are required to extract 3 sentences as per the question and convert it into our own words and answer it accordingly. For source B, there is a poster which is inviting the people for a protest movement. It's kind of a bonfire of foreign clothes, wherein people are required to burn the British clothes and everything. So here, if we see, I can see a poster about the non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation was basically the joint protest of the Indians, which means the Hindus, Muslims, everyone was protesting under the banner of non-cooperation. So we can write it like this as well, because if we see below the picture, there is a line given, a copy of a poster produced by the non-cooperation movement. So even in the source, it is written the word non-cooperation, so we can write it down. अगर ये सोर्स में नहीं भी लिखा हुआ होता और हम इसको ऐड ऑन करते, सो स्टिल इट वाज फाइन, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. अब बारी आती है इसको कनेक्ट करने की. आई कैन इंफर दैट इंडियंस आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर बाइकॉट, यानी कि जो पोस्टर है वो एक नॉन कोऑपरेशन मूवमेंट का है और इससे बात समझ आ रही है कि इंडियंस लोगों को इनवाइट कर रहे हैं फॉर बाइकॉट, और वी कैन सी दैट इंडियंस आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर बाइकॉट. बोथ आर करेक्ट. सो दिस इज हाउ इट्स गोना बी. ठीक है, मूविंग ऑन फर्दर. द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट जो हमें प्रिपेयर करना है, आई कैन सी द इंडियंस बर्निंग ब्रिटिश क्लोथ्स. ये थर्ड पॉइंट आ गया इसका. ठीक हो गया कि आई कैन सी इंडियंस बर्निंग ब्रिटिश क्लोथ्स, क्योंकि यहाँ लिखा हुआ है डिस्क्रिप्शन में कि bonfire of foreign clothes, which means Indians are going to burn the British clothes. So यहाँ क्योंकि डिस्क्रिप्शन अवेलेबल है, so we can write it down like this. अब इसको हमने कैसे कनेक्ट किया कि I can infer that Indians are not happy with the British. अच्छा, ये जो भी पॉइंट्स मैं लिख रहा हूँ, these are all suggested points. Obviously, if any one of you can write down any other point, so yes, definitely you can write it down. That's not a big problem. अगर आपके ख्याल में कोई और पॉइंट आपको पिक्चर से रिलेटेड समझ आ रहा है या आप लिखना चाह रहे हैं, तो यस डेफिनेटली यू कैन राइट इट डाउन, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, आप उसको जो है वो लिख सकते हैं। ठीक है, सो द फर्स्ट पेयर ऑफ 2 marks, the second pair of 2 marks again. This picture is related to the invitation of non-cooperation movement. Yeah, this picture is related to the protest against the British by the Indians. इस तरह से जो है इसको आंसर किया जाएगा. So this is basically the description related to answering source-based questions. For source B, मैंने mark scheme में जो examiner ने prescribe किया है way of writing down the facts, the inferences and द इवेंट द पिक्चर इज रिलेटेड टू, उसको ब्रेक डाउन कर दिया है इस तरीके से. इस वीडियो को देखने के बाद आप मार्क्स स्कीम को रेफर कर सकते हैं. यू आर गोइंग टू फाइंड आउट दैट द सेम पैटर्न हैज बीन प्रिस्क्राइब्ड बाय योर एग्जामिनर. ये एग्जामिनर का ही पैटर्न है जिसको मैंने यहाँ प्रिस्क्राइब किया है, बताया है, तो इसको आप लोग देख सकते हैं. So this is basically answering the source-based questions, the problem of the students which has been resolved. इस तरह की और वीडियोस देखना चाहते हैं और पाक स्टडीज को आसान बनाना चाहते हैं तो चैनल को लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, शेयर करें. थैंक यू सो मच. हैव अ नाइस डे.